Calling all units, calling all units. Donut shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.
Hey, salud.
Welcome in.
Welcome
Cheers.
to a very special guest. We're going to go ahead and drink. We got to look each other.
Thanks for coming on.
Look each other in the eye again.
Thanks.
Trying to look two people in the eye.
My wife does that.
A little bit hard. That's what my my podcast wife does too.
That's funny.
Because of my wife.
Oh, there you go.
The women are all about that.
It's a woman thing. It's no trust. Guys are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But okay, so
Drink.
let's talk about our guest who's here, and we'll introduce ourselves.
What up?
All right. Well, let's go for the introduction first. I'm Nick from Nick Off Duty. What's up, guys?
What's up? I'm Justin from Florida.
And I'm Alex from Miami.
Alex from Miami. Yes, but he's here because he heeded the call of firemen all throughout the podcast land and the viewership. They were like, hey, man, we're enough with all these jabs that you guys are throwing at us on
We need a defender.
Yeah, we need somebody on there who's going to
Absolutely.
defend us. And I think he came in literally ready to defend because there's a large object on the table. What is that?
See, look, I'm in the presence of police officers, so I want to stress that this is not a weapon.
Oh, what is that?
This is a hydrant wrench.
A hydrant wrench.
So it's made to open up a hydrant when you're trying to connect a line
Slip
to
and
get
slides?
to a fire. Yeah, sure. Oh,
Yeah.
That too.
I have
I'm
no
surrounded over
hydrants
here.
in the studio, so
But don't forget-
I presume it to be a weapon.
Police know about weapons of opportunity.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
And did anyone ever tell you not to bring a hydrant wrench to a gunfight?
Oh, my God. That's what this is going to be like? That's what we're doing today?
There's going to be a lot of gaps in this episode here. So you guys are in for a wild ride.
Yeah.
And
We
but
have some history together.
Thanks for coming. Yeah. How do
Yeah,
you know
we
this
do.
guy?
So this gentleman in front of me, he was on a vlog of ours at the agency that I work for. And guess what, guys? That's right. The most viewed vlog
Absolutely.
in the department's
You're
history.
welcome. You're welcome. Once again, fire department helping out the police department.
Oh, man. Listen, 2.5 million views to this
Yeah.
day. Yes, 2.5 million views. And trailing behind it, and like a 1.8 is the SWAT vlog.
Yo,
Yeah,
Oh, man.
with Chris, our
TTOG
from
Chris,
TTOG.
that guy's legit.
Yeah.
That's a good dude.
Shout
So, I said, we throw enough jabs at the firemen on this show. Why don't we have one on? And who better to have on than my friend over here, Alex?
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I
man,
appreciate
very
it.
knowledgeable
nice of
guy.
you.
If you guys haven't seen the episode, we'll link
it below.
Yeah, go check it out, and you get to know Alex a little more. But for now, we're gonna go into about me portion.
About me.
About me.
What's your deal?
What's the deal, man? Let's go back to little Alex.
Little Alex.
Little Alex. It was always like, one day I want to be a policeman, but hey,
Nope.
I guess
Absolutely not. Nope.
No?
Not
okay.
at all.
Why
Fireman
not?
all the way through.
100%. Yep.
Tell me how it started.
I think that I know we make a lot of jokes and stuff, but when you are a first responder, whether it be a police officer, a firefighter, or even a nurse,
Yes.
if you are the one that shows up when people call for help, I don't think that everybody can do that job.
No.
You know what I mean? I think it takes a certain kind of person, a certain way that you perform, if you will, to be able to do that job. So I remember what really did it for me is I figured out eventually that I like helping people. There's something about showing up when everybody is scared or everybody's like, in chaos,
Yes.
and you got to show up and you got to fix the situation. That's
Right.
I think that's a big firefighter motto, is figure it out.
Yes.
So I enjoyed that, and that's it.
Very true. Yeah, I think you could probably get almost 100% agreement across the board with people. So that's a good way to put it. That
Yeah.
No matter what hat you actually put on, it's
I'm-
really just you wanted to run the other direction.
Shout out to all the nurses that got included in there. Absolutely 100,000% first responders and dispatchers. Shout out to the
Dispatchers are another one.
dispatchers. They don't get a lot of notoriety when it comes to that, but they absolutely are first responders as well.
First line, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll have some dispatchers on. Sure they can talk a lot.
Yeah.
I spoke with some dispatchers. We were doing some stuff at work, and I wanted to sit down and talk about PTSD, and then I just happened to speak to one of the supervisors in my agency's dispatch.
Yeah.
So they handle police and fire calls. And what I never understood, or I never even thought of, was, I asked her, I was like, man, have you ever had like a tough call? Because look, you guys are cops. I'm a fireman. You can. Usually that's the first question. Like if you tell somebody, "Oh, I'm a police officer," they'll be like, "Oh, it's boring," which is understandable.
Yeah.
But whenever you tell somebody like, "Oh, I do this," the first question usually they ask is, "What's like the worst call that you've ever seen? What's like the worst call that you've ever been to?"
Yeah.
And I kind of made that kind of question to the dispatcher, and what she told me, again, I never even understood it. Like I never even thought about it. Was that she told me about a shooting, a little girl that her family members shot other members in her family, and then like she broke down. It was very like I had no idea, and then she was like, and the worst part about it is that once we send you guys, we never know what happens after that.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. That so like in my agency we used to have our own, but now we've gone to the county where the county does it. But when we had our own, it was just there was a special relationship where we could actually walk in that door and have a conversation, or they had us on the phones and they could text us, or we had different computer systems where you could kind of text chat back and forth, and that's one of the I would think that's one of the biggest lacks of communication for communications that they don't get that resolution that maybe the police and fire side, the people that they're sending that call, end up seeing the end of it, or can see what happens. The person got taken, or what was. I mean, everybody wants the information. Everybody wants to know the story. The same thing with the news and stuff. But the dispatchers end up kind of getting left high and dry with that, where they hear all of this, and then they don't get to hear what the resolution, or if the crime got solved. They might hear if somebody went to jail, but hey, what if the shift is over for them, and
or no, they hang up.
Announce that there's somebody arrested or somebody was transported.
They hang up, and then it's like the next call.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Just like that.
It is definitely an unsung hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to the dispatchers.
Shout out to them.
Side note: they made a decompression room at my agency where they can. They all right, I need a break, and they tap out and they go and they have that where they can decompress, like meditate and do stuff, because they do get PTSD as well. Because imagine you're hearing it, so you don't know, like podcast land, you guys are hearing us, but you don't know what we look like unless you go and see it. So all they can imagine probably the worst thing that's going on, especially if you're not out there, and see it firsthand, where it sounds bad, and you get there, you're like, well, it's not too bad, but in their mind, they're playing it as the worst possible case scenario, so they don't get to see it, so they hold that in.
Yeah. I mean, remember, some of you may have called 911 and had to deal with somebody on the phone, and just like they say about police officers, you don't ever know what call they just came from.
Right.
So this person might have just been dealing with this thing, and then now you want to call because it's 9:30 at night and your neighbor's playing their music a little too loud, and sometimes you called 911 for that. You get that person. So yeah, it's definitely a decompression is a good point.
All right, let's bring it back.
Wrangle,
because he's a fireman. Yeah. But it all intertwines. Everything he brought.
What do you got, Nick? What do you got? What do you got? Come on, get to it, man. I've seen the show. I see the jokes. Just get them out.
No. But it's nothing but love, brotherly love.
Yes.
And sisterly love. If there's firewoman out there,
it's just that it's that sixth sense of humor that we all have to have fun, just like you would do with your real family brothers. It's everybody's real family.
But I tell you, at the end of the day, it's just like your little brother. You can you pick on him all you want, but as soon as somebody from the outside comes in and does something, you step in front and like no, and it's vice versa.
Yeah.
So because you're obviously probably taller than me.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm your little brother. But if anyone tries to light me on fire, you'd be like, I'm gonna.
Hey, wait, don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this liquid you're spraying on me? It doesn't taste like water.
So funny.
Yeah, but I put the fire out.
Okay, so let's go back. So little Alex, he wants to be a fireman, and then he goes to school to be a fireman. Do you need school for that, or you just gotta learn how to slide down a pole?
It's a lot of specialty training.
At the playground,
they don't just give you a badge and a gun and tell you, hey, look, go and there's a lot of training
on the
there.
button, off you go. What kind of training is that? Like talk about it for those.
So let's say a high school kid listening. What should I do?
If you're in high school, I think the best thing that you should do before signing up for anything is see if you can talk to a firefighter. Usually, a lot of people know firefighters. If you don't have a family member that is a firefighter or a paramedic, just go to your local firehouse, ring the doorbell, and just be like, "Hey, look, my name is so and so, and I just have some questions. I don't know where you are watching this, but guaranteed." They'll take you inside and they'll answer your questions. They'll show you around. Yeah. And the reason why I say that is because I worked in the hospital for a few years in the emergency room, both in adult and pediatric. I've worked obviously on a rescue truck. I've worked in clinic. I worked all over the place. Any job you can think of, I've had it. Right. And there's been more than a few times where you've seen people that are they're students, and they'll come and they'll either ride with the fire department or they'll do clinical hours in the hospital, and all of a sudden they're exposed to reality, which is like a bad call. And I can, off the top of my head, I can name 3 people who right after that call quit and left. You know, and these are people that went through training, spent a bunch of money, and, you know, obviously made an effort to get to where they were, but then they realized that, you know, this isn't for me. And respect to them too, because that takes guts. It takes guts to get up and walk
First-hand
out.
experience. As my best friend, same thing. He made it through all the levels of training. We'll talk about those levels and those class types.
Yeah.
He made it through all that, but just in the clinicals, out in the ride-alongs, he just really learned that my decision holds someone else's life in my hands, and I'm not sure if I really want to do that forever, or, you know, for the next 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
So smart thing, pulled off and backed out, and he's, you know, does his own job, and it's great.
I respect people like that.
You know, it's a decision you got to make, similar to like what we were saying earlier about running in the other direction from everybody else. And shout out to those Explorer posts out there, because that's one of those things as a youth you can do.
Absolutely.
Big up
Do they
to
have
Explorer
fire?
posts.
Do they have fire?
We
explorers?
have different groups in my agency. There's plenty of ones, like there's the county, they have explorers also. So there's different groups that you can get involved with. It's really reaching out to your local departments that are around you, and, you know, you can find out. Usually they have the information online on a website, and you can find out what do they require in order for you to apply. Some agencies will require you what you need in order to be considered, right, are what we call the tickets. You need to have your EMT, your paramedic, and your fire certification. So each one of these are 3 different programs that you have to complete.
That's to get a job.
That's to get a job.
Not for explorers. We're not talking about
explorers.
Explorers.
This is to get a job in certain agencies. Like when I waited for about 6 years, 7 years to get hired. I mean, it was just, you know, the recession, people were not hiring. So it was very, very competitive just to get a job. I was a group of guys that, you know, camped out a few nights in front of City Hall because just to turn in your application, because that's just what it was.
Yeah.
So it really depends what the agency wants. Some of you want you to be what's called fully certified, meaning you have all 3 of those tickets.
Yeah.
Some will
Just
be
repeat
like
them one more time for
it's
everybody.
having your EMT basic, your paramedic certification, and your Fire 2 certification. So those are 3 different tickets that you have to earn. And you have to take state tests for them, which is
About how
difficult.
long does it take just to do those classes?
Are those individual schools you have to go to? EMT
So
school?
you have that. You can either go through your local community college and jump, you know, through their hoops, or you can go to private technical colleges, which are a little bit more expensive, but it's usually you jump right in it. And you just keep going. I went to FMTI and AMA. Those are 2 schools. AMA is still there. They actually have all kinds of other programs now. Shout out to them. And if you decide to go through the community college route, you have to take whatever classes that they recommend you before you can get to the EMT class or the paramedic class.
Similar to doing like your gen eds for a bachelor's degree or something.
Now, if you go through the private route, it's like jumping into the pool. You know, it's sink or swim. Like, all right, cool. Here, we need you to, here's your uniform, here's your book. Class starts on Monday. And we'll see you then. And it's either sink or swim. So I like those because it's more of that's what I did, and it was more of a reality because, you know, it's you're either going to get this or you're not. Like, there's no room for excuses. I think both in police and in the fire service, there's no room for excuses. Like, you can't. It gets to a point where you need to know exactly what to do. So once you have those tickets, after that, it's going through the hiring process for whatever agency you're applying for. They have lie detector tests, background tests, drug tests, obviously. They've got a bunch of things that you have to go through to even be considered. And then after that, once you pass all that, you have your chief's interview, and, you know, or you have like a mega code, which you'll walk in through the door. I've done it where I was in a suit and I walked in. They told me, no, it's just going to be an interview. And as soon as we walked in, they're like, all right, cool. What's your name? Alex? All right, listen, you've got a 6-year-old male who just went unconscious. His mother is right next to him, also in cardiac arrest. And, you know, they throw these huge scenarios at you. And you have to, and they watch you. Everything that you do, what do you remember? And then right after you're done with that, they'll be like, all right, cool. So check it out. There's a baby on the second floor.
Yeah.
The house is on fire. And there's a little old woman that's at the door. What are you going to do first?
Oh, and by the way, they have a pet velociraptor running around
Yes.
the yard.
Yes. So you're
Figure
going
it
to have
out.
to figure that one out. Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of the name of the game.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Caveat: there's a do not resuscitate on the old woman.
You know.
What do you know? Wow, that's. I mean, those are huge scenarios. That yeah, I mean it's
I didn't know. I did not know that.
yeah.
I was like, hey, you slid down a pole? Yeah. You know how to turn on the hose? Yeah.
Hey, you can hold the gun. Here you go. Here's the gun. Handcuffs.
You want a leather recliner or do you want a fabric recliner?
Nick, very good. Very good.
Are you guys assigned that right out of the academy? You have to earn your recliner.
Listen, anybody watching this, do not pay attention to what Nick is telling you. Don't listen to Nick. Okay?
But wait, there's more.
Oh, man.
Well, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll come back with some more ball busting.
All right.
Absolutely.
I like it.
What's in the cup? Guys, what's in my cup? Blackout Coffee Company. We joined up with them. I've been drinking it and I enjoy it. And I think you may enjoy it as well. So you can go over to our website and click the link, or you can just go to their website, blackoutcoffee.com, and use our coupon code to get 10% off. The code is DSP10. So go over, check it out. All right, and we're back.
Fun fact before we start.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Stuff.
Here we go. What do you got?
Alex is an identical twin brother.
Yes, I am. Absolutely.
Identical, and I did not know this the first time I met him. So, let me lead you down what happens next. Fast forward a couple months later, after the vlog is doing good, there's a ceremony at my department. Guess who's there? Or who I thought was there? Alex. And he's quite the joker. He's a good guy, knowledgeable joker. So I
Hi,
go
Nick.
down. I see him. I'm like, eh. I'm across the auditorium. Yo, what's up? I'm throwing a little wave. I guess he throws me the head down, like, oh, here it comes.
Here's another one.
Who's
another
that
one of
guy?
these guys, right?
Oh, he's a
So
cop.
I wait until
Here we go.
I wait until the thing's over. I go to him like, yo, what's up, bro? I haven't seen you. And I get into the comment, man, it's doing good and everything. And he's like, yeah. He's like, you're talking about my brother. And I'm like, that's something Alex would say because he's a joker. And I'm like, get out of here, bro.
You just do the punch in the arm thing.
Yeah, and he's like, no, we're identical twins. That's my brother. Now scram.
Leave me alone, weirdo.
He's wearing the same costume?
He's a firefighter, right?
Yeah, he works for
Another
department. Yeah.
right local agency, right
Yep.
next jurisdiction.
Okay.
You guys should get tattoos. What's your brother's name?
My brother actually has tattoos.
I'm not Alex.
I saw. Listen,
And then
if
he
there was
has-
a surgeon
Just put
that
it behind
can.
his ear.
No, I'm saying. Look, I've been twins my entire life. I'm kind of
makes
ready.
sense. That makes sense, bro.
I'm kind of ready to just like break off. I've had very upset ladies come up to me and, who you here with, and this is in front of somebody else. I'm like, do I know you? Oh, really? That's what you're gonna do? I had a chick once. This is a true story. Slap me
Oh my.
in front of everybody at that place
Oh my god.
because my brother did something. And
And they're firefighters, so we know.
yeah,
wait a minute, what? We are good boys.
you
I
guys
don't know
have
what you're
the
talking
best.
about.
Everybody loves you. You know what? Everybody loves you guys.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
Nick,
mean?
You and your Dalmatians.
You
Oh, well.
and you're on the calendars and everything.
We have, there's the South Florida Firefighters calendar. Yep,
Shout
absolutely.
out.
Shirts off.
Hey, what's the hottest month? Who's the hot? What is it? Is it December?
Is this a trick question? You're trying to like lead me
No,
in
no,
there?
no. Because Chris was on and we were describing. He's like, yeah, firefighters are hot, dude.
Yeah, cops buy firefighter calendars. I know that.
But which month
'cause it's for charity.
goes to the hottest person?
Firefighter.
I'm safe. I can safely
being.
say that I think every month works. Every month.
Oh
He's
man,
a politician too.
See, there you
folks.
go. I mean, you gotta do it.
I want to see a police calendar. What would that look like?
Just a bunch of donuts.
A bunch of donuts.
we
Dunkin'
should do a
Donuts
donut.
sponsored.
Dad bods everywhere.
That's it.
We should do a
That's
donut
it.
shop. Comment below if you want a donut shop podcast calendar. with
You know you
cops.
do, so just do it.
There's a reason why you guys are on the calendars, and we'll get into that because we're going to talk about shift
dare
work
you.
and everything.
Yeah, but first, so police officers, usually an 8-hour, 10-hour, 12-hour, depending on the breakdown of your department, work those kind of days. You guys work 12-hour shifts. Or, I mean,
24.
24-hour shifts. I'm sorry. Why? How's that work? And then how's kind of like what's like a start a shift day in the life kind of thing?
Well, I've actually asked a few people.
Is it 24 hours, right?
It is 24 hours, but there's also some departments like I know like Phoenix is one, and other departments where they do 48-hour shifts. So you're there for 2 days,
2 full days,
and then you're off. I think it's 72 hours. I'm not too sure. We do
What's the math on that?
24 hours. Yeah, no, let me
days?
count there. Yeah,
3 days?
yeah.
40. Thanks.
See, cops.
Yeah.
So we do 24 hours, and you're off 48, right? And in the beginning, I was like,
we solve murders in 48. So
well, yeah, that's what it is.
One whole shift.
So
on your weekend,
it wasn't until I think like my first tour, like going home after a 24-hour shift, like the next 24 hours, like you're knocked out.
Yeah.
You're like, exhausted, especially if you're on a rescue and you're at a busy station, you're getting 6-7 calls after midnight. Like you do not stop. Like when you came to my station.
Shout out to the Niners out there. He's not going to say it. But shout out to the Niners.
Station 9.
My homies.
When you came to the station, we didn't stop. No. There wasn't anything orchestrated there. We didn't have any movie magic. Bullshit. That was just one call after the other. And that's really what it is.
And which leads me to my next thing, because I thought we were like, yeah, fire, and it was like, actually there was one fire at the end. Mm-hmm. There was a fire. That's a good.
Yeah,
day.
we had one that we showed up. I think it was second. If I remember, I think it was like a body shop or something like that. Yeah, something
like that on the top floor or whatever.
Yeah.
What's I don't want to jump ahead, but what's the ratio? Because we did like 5 medical.
Mm-hmm.
And then we trained.
Yeah, we had a training day also, right?
Holy smokes. You see what I did there? Last one we were talking about dogs and rough. Oh, by the way, totally shout out to American Standard Dog Training. Kane and my boy Garrett hooked us up with the shirts. Got mine on. If you guys want one, go check them out on the social media platforms. Plug. Going back.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us, I didn't want to get off track. Walk us through a whole day, I guess, start to finish.
So
you get up off your recliner, then what happens?
At home. Then you get in your comfy. Then you get in your recliner.
Nick, I swear.
Wait, let us run down your day and you tell us if we're wrong.
You do it for me. You're doing good. You're doing good.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
So I usually get to the station really early. I like being early. Reason being is for the fire department, the one thing that you'll get in trouble for, no matter what, doesn't matter what rank you have, is if you're late.
I'm out.
If you're late, you can forget it. Honestly, there's like no excuse. It's huge. And I mean, I've had that question a million times. If you are late anywhere that you're going, it's a humongous insult. You can like make fun of my wife if you want to, but if you are late to whatever we're doing, what's wrong with you? It's very inconsiderate. So they're big on that. We start at 7:30 in the morning, but like I said, guys get there earlier. You get to the station early, guys wake up, and we start having coffee, talk about the shift, talk to the guys that are going home. And then at 7:30 we start, we line up, the captain will walk out, and the captain starts giving out the assignments. At my station and in various stations, you'll have rescue trucks, and then you'll have suppression units, which can be like an engine, a quint, an aerial, different big fire trucks.
Yes.
And I don't have to explain you guys a little slower because you're cops.
Yeah, no, well, for the audience.
Yeah, for the audience, of course.
Big trucks.
Yeah, are they ready?
They're ready. Absolutely.
I knew it.
Absolutely, yes.
They have a ladder.
Some of them do.
All
yes,
right,
they spray water.
So let me break it down in cop terms.
Yeah.
You have which is essentially like it looks like the fire rescue is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where they put the person on the stretcher. Mm-hmm. I'm talking in cop lingo, man.
No,
what you see pulling up to the hospital.
Yeah. They put them in the back and they go. And then the trucks are the ones that show up with the hoses that come out, right?
Yeah.
And then
the ladders.
And then they shoot the fire. So just to make that clear to all my cop buddies out there.
So
this episode sucks.
Not shoot, guys. They spray water.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, they don't, so bullets into a fire don't really work.
Yeah, that's not going to do. So you got, we have fire trucks. We've got rescue trucks, which is the ones that actually takes the patient to the hospital.
Yeah.
We've got aerial units. We've got ladders. There's a bunch of different trucks. But the point is that each one of them are staffed with firefighter paramedics.
Yeah.
My agency, we have firefighter paramedics, firefighter EMTs. Usually the entire department, they're firefighters and your paramedics. So you do both.
Yeah.
Like we've had calls where the fire truck will show up first before a rescue will show up, and people have asked me like, why is it that my mom is having chest pain, and like the fire engine shows up
She
first.
needs to go to the hospital.
She has to go to the
but
hospital.
there's a
Why are
ladder
you
there.
guys showing up here first?
Yeah.
And the reason being is because we're very busy. My agency is super busy. My station is super busy. I mean,
Yeah.
you can watch the episode and see that. And
Link down below.
yeah, please. And then if there's even the fire trucks have paramedics on there, and they have ALS equipment. ALS is Advanced Life Support. So they have medicines, monitors, they got all kinds of stuff. So these guys can jump off of the fire truck and put on the hat of a paramedic and start treating you while the rescue will show up. And before they can do anything, we already get report from these guys, throw them on the truck, and take off. So it's not, you don't have to sit there and wait when you're having an emergency, which obviously has happened in other places. So
right.
it's just quicker and faster service, and everybody that's there, you wear multiple hats. That's the one thing that I've come to learn, is that a lot of people have no idea what the fire department does.
That's why you're here.
At all. Like, these guys have no clue. Like, the fire department handles that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
We are the best way to
There's a
understand
gas
it.
leak.
We are an all hazard department.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of fire departments, we respond to every possible call that you can think of, whether it be a baby that stops breathing, somebody gets shot, a house is on fire. We've got anything. A cat in a tree. Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks
Ducks
a lot,
in a
Nick.
drain.
Yes,
Ducks
that too.
And you guys always have a cell phone out for that. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, people love firefighters because, we don't shoot them.
What was it? What was it?
That's a low blow. That's slow blow. Bang, bang,
wow.
boom, bing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move past that burn.
No
Today.
pun intended.
I'm full of them today.
Oh, geez.
Nick is pulling them all out of the bag.
Yeah. I have them all written down here. Okay, I used burn. Check it off.
Check.
Perfect show for Nick.
Even to a point where was it a raccoon? What was it? A possum? It was a possum. You guys posted something on your social media, or one of the stations posted. It was
possum.
in by their vending machine or whatever. They
The
had-
ghetto vending machine?
Yeah.
that you-
No. It was at another. I think it was at the one in Brickell or something. They had like a possum. Whatever. You guys do it all. That was just.
Well, I mean,
reinforced.
at the end of the day, it's, I remember going through the fire academy and them telling us, like, one of the instructors, he loved to say this. He would be like, tag, you're it. I go, wow, what are you talking about? He's like, tag, you're it. Somebody called, now it's your turn. Go figure it out.
Yeah.
So those are two terms that you hear all the time. You hear tag, you're it, and figure it out.
Right, yeah. That's what she said, yeah.
Don't matter what the call is. It doesn't matter what it
That's
is.
What she said.
That's what you said.
Oh, you said you had a
Shoe said.
Hey,
She applies.
what's in the cup?
I blurred my
He's
words
starting
together.
to slur his words.
bang, bang.
All right, so that's when you get there. So tell us what happens after you get your assignment, because that was
So-
an hour long of a.
Oh man! So basically the captain will tell you, like, all right, Nick, you're on rescue 29, for
All right,
example.
got it.
And after we break,
Yeah.
right? He basically tells you anything that's going to happen to the day. If
like
we
a
have
roll
any
call.
training that day, roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Yeah.
So we break, and then you go and you check out your truck. So you will literally go to Rescue 29, where you're supposed to go to that day,
Yeah.
and you check everything from head to toe. We usually have one guy that'll drive, one firefighter paramedic is assigned to drive that day. You've got one guy that's supposed to be in the back, and then you've got an officer that sits in the front, and then when we have an actual patient, he's in the back with the other paramedic.
So is
So
there
an officer meaning like a supervisor?
Yeah, like a
lieutenant.
supervisor role. They're the ones that are it's more responsibility. That's like the best way that I've ever heard somebody say that. Shelley said that. You're a firefighter like everybody else, but you're given more responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not just, you get a promotion. No, you're responsible for a few more things.
I think it's same on this side too. Is that
Yep.
When you be sergeant, lieutenant, yeah, that's great. You still got a gun. You still got a badge. You still got
you still gotta
uphold the
work.
law.
Yep.
Can't just drive by things. So to go back, there's another team running, right? Obviously, there's got to be someone always. Is there any overlap time where you guys do like a transfer? Like, hey, this is my truck.
So in my station and various stations, you usually have 2 rescues, sometimes even 3, right?
Yeah.
But let's say for 2, you have one what we call the day truck and
Yeah.
another one we call the night truck. So what that means is that if we're at the station and a call comes in, the day truck will go out first, right? And if another call comes in, the second truck will go out, and
Night truck.
and the night truck will go out. Well, at 7:30 at night, they switch. So now the night truck goes out first, and if another call comes in, which they always do. The day truck when
primary,
I go
secondary,
right, primary and
yeah.
secondary. That's
So
it.
there's two shifts working concurrently, meaning
No,
or
one
you guys
shift.
split?
No, there's one shift. There's A, B, and C shift.
Okay.
When if you're, let's say A, B, and C, right?
Right.
A shift, you're going to be working 24 hours.
Yes.
At the end of your 24-hour duty, B shift is coming in to relieve you. You are going to work 24 hours. At the end of your 24 hours, C shift is coming, and I'm going to relieve you. I'll work, and then we just keep going.
Quick math, that's how you do 24, and then
48
24,
off.
24, so 48. So then A shift comes
72.
back on the back.
That was 72.
Good.
48.
They get it.
24 and 24 is
And 24
is 72.
72.
You
he
see
worked
why?
The first shift, then relieved you. Now he's
Cops,
off.
man.
Yeah.
Cops.
Yeah,
Oh, so
it smells
so
in
you're
here.
off. That's how you get off.
If you're working, you're A shift, right?
Son of a-
Now it's his turn. Now
What's
you're
in
resting
the
24
cup?
hours.
B shift, you're on your first day off.
Okay, all right.
And then
Second day off, and then you start again.
Oh,
That's it.
That's a whole 15-minute episode right there.
Oh my God.
You know what? I'm pulling out my calculator.
Stop it.
So, all right. So you got your shift. You're running down your equipment. This is my truck. It works.
Yeah, you literally listen. These trucks have everything that you can possibly think of. Honestly, like, I mean, that day that you rode with us, we had a bunch of stuff. We had a guy that, I can't remember what the calls were, but there was obviously a lot of medical calls. But we also had fire calls. I believe we had a few car accidents that day because you ended up leaving a little early because 24 hours was too much for you, and I understand. You're a police officer.
You weren't paying me the OT, man.
Well, you know.
He was promised a recliner.
Oh, jeez. See, look, there's 2 against 1 right now.
Oh,
That's how
so
we usually do it.
all right. You got it. So when does the trips to the food store start, where you guys go and buy a whole bunch of groceries?
So every day, every single firefighter, including the officers, the captain, lieutenants, everybody chips in $20. And we all take turns cooking for the day. So usually one guy that's going to be from one of the suppression units, the big fire trucks.
Yeah.
One
you.
guy is going to cook that day. So
Yeah.
you take everybody's money, and you're responsible for cooking breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Woo.
That might not sound like a big deal, but when you've got 20 guys, 15 guys that are like waiting on you for food, like it better taste good. It better be done quick.
Yeah.
And then you can't spend all the money.
And I tell you, it's just like our side. They will let you know when
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
it tastes like shit.
Yeah.
And it's not
Guilty.
good. They will let you know. I was there for a little bit, and it was like Crankfest 3000.
Yeah.
That's what you're making again. But they do make some killer cafecito.
Chef Boyardee every night. Thanks,
Oh,
buddy.
man, yeah.
All right.
All right, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
We'll come back
when,
and we'll finish.
When we come back, I want to know what's your chef of the day thing. Neil.
We'll be right back. Hey, come here. Come here. No, bring it in real close. I got something for you. Did you subscribe yet? Right down there. Hit that subscribe button and the bell notification, because you got to know when we're going to give you a show. Do it. Go now. Go now. I'm waiting. Come on. Right there. All right, back to the show. All right, so into the meat and potatoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your meal for the? What's your specialty? What are they? Oh yeah, Alex is riding the suppression truck. You see what I'm saying? I'm learning.
First off, I've had a few bad meals.
Oh yeah.
I've had some few bad ones.
What are some of the?
Oh my God! I burnt. I was cooking dinner, and I think I had either ribs or steak, right? And then I had mac and cheese, but it was like homemade or whatever.
Yeah.
And I burnt the cheese. I burnt something.
Yeah.
And my captain walked by and he's like, "Man, it smells burnt." I go, "Yeah, it tastes like shit," And then he was like, "Just put barbecue sauce in it," and dumped the whole bunch. It did not help.
No.
No. I ended
burnt
up.
mac and cheese with
Oh my
barbecue
God.
sauce on it.
I think I had to buy like a few pizzas or something. I don't remember.
So
But
you can do that. Can you defer to pizza?
yeah, but that's coming out of your pocket.
wings?
That's not from the 20 that you collected. So you don't want to do that. You
Yeah.
don't want to make a bad meal.
So all right.
My go-to is usually for lunch. I'll make like turkey burgers or something and some fries. It's tough to mess that up, you
Yeah.
know. And then at night I'll do chicken vaca frita.
Chicken vaca frita. That
Yep.
sounds delicious.
Yeah, that's my thing. I like
I'll
that.
tell you, it's great. I work at our main building, and our main station's connected to it. So when I walk back and out to my car, and those guys are on the grill and they're outside cooking on the barbecue,
Yep.
and it's like, oh man,
Yeah.
And they'll make the jokes. Come on, we got a fresh box of donuts.
Yeah.
They'll tell us.
Which leads me to my my next thing, because we talked about food. Obviously, you're doing your runs throughout the day. It comes over the loudspeaker in the thing. It's like a high school when the principal's talking.
Gymnasium,
Yeah, it goes over the loudspeaker. And how many years you been on? Or
With the city, almost 7.
all right. So how many years? Some of those guys in your unit been on for a while, right?
Oh yeah. I call them the dinosaurs. I've got
So-
some old guys in my station.
To throw some credit to the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it's not putting down
Pat Barron, Todd Hurst.
police,
Johnny Mora.
Anyway. But when a call comes out, and it's any call, these guys are hauling ass.
Yeah.
They stop what they're doing, flipping tables to get to the door. Let's go!
Yeah.
And you would think, man, these guys just got on.
Right.
No.
And we don't, as police officers, we're not trying to get to the call. However, the intent, I've been to, I don't know how many shots fired calls.
Yeah.
But I'm going there and I'm a little desensitized to the shots fired, like that anxiety, the anxiousness, the hypeness. These guys been to hundreds, thousands of calls, and they keep that intensity where they're running. Like, let's go!
Yeah.
So I was impressed, and I see the older dinosaurs, as you would call them. They still got it, man. They're still running out there. So
You got guys that have like 20 years on the job and they still, take it seriously. They still, they still got it.
yeah, I'm not saying wait, cops take it seriously.
Well, I'm not saying
Wait,
that.
take
Listen,
it.
there's one cop that you guys have. What is his name? I can't believe I'm
Yes,
drawing a blank right
it
now.
starts with a F-R-A, Frazier.
Frazier. I love that guy. Listen,
Marine.
I have a Marine Corps. That
Corps.
guy, I've had a few calls with him where it was bad, and this guy walked in and just fixed everything. It's the way that he is with people. I mean, I know that what's trending right now, or what's in right now is cops suck, and people love talking shit about cops.
And you guys are like, hey, we got your back. I'm like, yeah, they do. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
no,
stop
I'm just
it.
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Listen, honestly, there's bad in anything. There's bad cops. There's bad firefighters. There's bad donut makers.
Yeah.
So there's bad in anything. I respect people that take their job seriously, or people
Yes.
that actually realize what they're doing and perform. Frazier is that guy's. There's no way. The best way that I can explain is that guy's a gangster. Like
He's-
that guy
he's
is.
good. He's
no joking. OG.
Good
yes.
dude. And he has that old school mentality with firemen where he hangs around the station, and I know we got away from that, and I wish it would be better relationship with them, but it's just so busy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's hard to go in and hang out a little bit because you're hopping calls, next one, and you're called holding. Like,
Right.
hey, hurry up and finish that call because we got 5 calls holding. So
Yeah,
that
you guys are just as busy.
that relationship is. I mean, I felt like it went by the wayside a little bit, but
It's just really tough. Yeah, they're either running out for a call or the officer's running out for a call, but that's always a good time is to just get together and just goof around. And like I know a couple guys that I work with that I went to high school with, and so and they're fire, so we just BSing and talking and stuff like that, and and the AC's always nice and low in the firehouse.
Yeah.
So
I make an effort whenever I see them out and about. If there's an opportunity, I'll reach out or I'll just walk up, talk to them or whatever. Last time I think we were we had the civil unrest in our city not too long ago. They were out there on standby. And
I think I saw you. I saw you when I was on the MedCat or whatever. Yeah.
I went. I had some cookies, not donuts, that I was giving out to the officers, and then I had some. And I saw the fire guys over there. I'm like, hey man, you guys want some of this? Like, no, we just want protein.
No protein. Ugh, that's funny. That's funny.
But shout out, guys. Even though we don't talk as much, we still got love for you. To go back all the way back to because we keep trying to get through this day.
yeah,
We're gonna have to bring you back to
it's
finish
24
the
hours.
day. Yeah. What point do you guys work out?
So it really depends. There's guys at my station like Kyle and Johnny Mora. Those 2 guys, they actually come to work early, and they'll work out early, and sometimes they'll even sneak a workout, during the shift. But again, your number one responsibility or the priority is responding to the emergency. So the thing with us is like COVID-19, right? The whole world changed.
Yes.
Everything changed. Nothing changed for police officers, firefighters, hospitals. You know, all, if anything, we just got busier. You know what I mean?
And
So
But here's the thing: did you guys have to space out the recliners like 6 feet
That's
inside
funny.
the house?
I mean, did you guys have to take it easy with the donuts? 1.5 or just straight to 2? That's all I got. That's all I
your
got.
limit of donut jokes.
That's all I got.
All right, we got. I guess it's the recliner donut thing. I guess so. I know there's a story behind the donuts, and we said it on the first podcast. What's the story behind the recliners?
I'll be honest with you. I've been at my station now for 6 years, 5.5, 6 years, and usually the way it works, the one place that everybody goes to in the firehouse, like where everything happens, is in the kitchen. And the kitchen is where
I think it's typical to all households.
Yeah, just a house in general.
that's where everybody's at. So usually at my station, everybody's in the kitchen. I mean, everybody's either working on whatever meal we got because everybody works together,
family,
right?
yeah.
And that's it. That's like the old Italian stuff.
Yeah,
everybody comes to the kitchen.
Break
That's probably a
bread,
wrong
break
plug to
bread.
make, but everything happens in the kitchen, and that's really where we hang out at. And we don't have the recliners in there. Like the recliner is something that's like in a TV room or something. So if we are gonna watch a movie, like we're like, all right, guys, we got we're gonna have family night. Right, like at 7 o'clock, everybody come together. We're gonna watch a movie. In all reality, if you're a betting man, you can bet $1,000 or $5,000. We're gonna call.
That's where I wanted to attest to that, and I can't speak for every fire station, but these guys really get to use those rooms
They're
because
still in mint condition.
these guys are humping.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 and they're squared away. Then the training and. I was really taken back, like, okay, this is how it really is? And he's like, yeah, bro, let's go. We got another call. I was like, oh, my God.
I got so many messages. We were, after that fire call that you and I had, I remember we were packing up, and then right there we got a call from dispatch. All of us were radio, and you can hear it. Oh, I forgot it was a medical call. I remember what it was. And I remember you walking into the rescue, and you were like, hey, man, we haven't had lunch or something. Like, are we going to go have lunch? And I was like, what? He goes, we need break. We haven't gone on break. And all I said, I don't even know where this came from, but I was like, Nick, I'm a City of Miami fireman. I don't even know how to spell break.
Oh, yeah.
And so many people commented on that one line. I was like, I guess that's pretty cool.
That was in the vlog.
That was in the vlog,
Vlog, yeah.
But again, at least I think it's easier because you saw it. Like you saw how busy we were that day. We did not stop. And that was actually like a slower day. Because some of these days, like you'll leave in the morning and you won't come back until the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. You got a cold lunch.
So that's what I was gonna say. You're not going back to get gear. You're not going back to the station. Get everything you got there. You might go from one call onto the next.
Right to
on
the
your
next
way
one.
back, you get another one. And you guys are just flying around.
You might
just keep going.
If you're on a rescue truck, ship somebody to the hospital, and from the hospital, you're
Absolutely
really busy.
on your way to the next one.
Really busy.
But then again, that's something that you know that you're signing up for. You know what I mean? Like, there's cops that are busy. I've had calls where we showed up where we needed a police officer. We needed one.
Yeah.
Not like the hippie mentality that's out there now. Like, oh, let's send a social worker. No, we need a police officer. Send a police officer over here.
Yeah.
And, you guys have calls holding. I remember that. I remember I had a patient who was like combative or whatever, and it was me and 2 other dudes. And when we were calling for a cop to show up, they were like, "No, they've got calls holding." And I literally told dispatch, like, "What do you mean calls holding? Tell the guy to come over. This guy's got a weapon."
On the flip side, on our side, whenever we hear that, no matter what we're doing, with the exception of obviously a couple of things, we'll be like, "Hey, we'll be right back." We treat as officers. We hear fire.
Yeah.
First of all, it's like, asking someone for help, like asking your dad for help or something. You don't want to do it. Especially firemen, like,
we can't handle this.
Like, yeah. So they'll call us, and I'm like, nah, bro. When they call, that means that's real. So let's go.
Yeah.
We got to go. So we'll clear whatever we're doing, and we'll tell somebody, look, we'll be right back if it's something not that serious. But more than likely, sometimes officers are done what they're doing, and they're just taking their time trying to finish the report or something.
Look at it. We've had calls where I've had police officers that were injured, and it's the same thing. I mean, we show up and we're, the priority is you guys, because at the end of the day, you guys are doing the exact same thing that we're doing, which is serving people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's really when you want to get down to it. Doesn't matter where you stand on the line. It's these people have a job and they're taking care of other people, right? Like I understand that there's bad in both. There's bad firefighters, there's bad cops. Like I said, there's bad donut makers, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that a majority of them are bad. Absolutely not.
No.
Like there's more good people that are out there that are actually trying to help people. So when you guys call, like I remember one was a young girl. She had been on the job maybe 2 or so years, and like she showed up and there was this big dude who was high on something and he broke her orbital bone. Like you got to hit somebody really hard.
Yeah.
But you know who I'm talking about? Young girl.
Our
She's from our, yes.
no.
Well-
I mean, I think actually yes, I do.
She broke her orbital bone. And it's
You're
a big
Station
deal.
9, right?
this
Northy?
Little Haiti.
I know
Yep.
exactly who it was.
Dude, that's like a legit injury. And this guy, this is a grown man who hit a woman. In my neighborhood, if a man were to hit a woman, like, you know, nobody stands for stuff like that.
Nah.
Right.
You know, so like the same thing should apply. Like, hey, yeah, she's a cop, she's a woman, man. Like, what are you doing? You know, so
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't know.
additionally,
Stuff.
she's a police officer. Yeah.
Right.
But that's goes. You know, people don't. It's hard nowadays because people really don't understand what it is that firefighters see, police officers see. They just see what's on the news and, oh yeah, I guess we should defund the police.
No, man.
And there are some people out there that are some hardcore criminals that will hurt you,
Absolutely.
that will kill you, that will do bad things to you. And if you take that line of defense, or if somebody gets hurt, and I have never heard anybody saying defund the firefighters. You ever know that?
No, you don't even
Firefighters
know.
like, yeah, defund the police. Let us allocate some of that money. Yeah,
Dude.
boy, get some
That's funny.
lazy boys with the vibrating.
Oh my God. We don't have none of them that vibrate.
No.
What's with you guys in vibrating, huh? Is that like a cop thing?
Like, so a serious question:
Yeah.
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Xbox. Why?
See
Huh?
what I mean?
Just cops and firefighters just fighting
Just-
about everything.
Here we go. All right, man.
Reason why we asked that question, and probably not his station house, but some station houses, they pass the time. They're able to play some games and stuff, decompress.
I had
a
a PlayStation. I started Nintendo. No, Atari, Nintendo,
Jesus.
Super
Uh-huh.
Nintendo, but Nintendo, and then Sega, then
Sega.
PlayStation, right? And then Xbox came out too. But I was like, nah, I like my PlayStation. Xbox had Halo.
Yeah, I
The only
remember
way
that.
you can play Halo was to get an Xbox.
remember
Then you do System Link. You can have the LAN parties. You link all the Xboxes together, and then came Xbox Live. So I was hooked. PlayStation really didn't get good online. I don't even think they're still good online, but they really didn't get good online gaming because everyone was on Xbox. So I was more into the online first-person shooter thing. I know you play Final Fantasy, probably.
No, I don't. Absolutely not. Call of Duty. Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. So you want it? Hey, you want to?
Hey, Call of Duty.
All right.
I'll
Have
find you.
Rainbow Six Siege? No. You know
No.
about that game? No.
No, I know about the game, but no, I haven't played that
It's a
one.
policey type game.
Oh,
a
this
cop
is a
thing?
deep dive.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break and let's come back and talk about some of the specialized units that are in the fire
Dun,
department.
dun, dun.
We are back. What's up, everybody? Just wanted to tell you about our friends over at D&B Tile. There's 6 locations across South Florida that can take care of everything that you need, from accessories, installation materials, marble, and of course, the best tile. Start by looking at their website, dbtile.com. And first responders, when you go in there, mention Donut Shop Podcast for 15% off your purchase. Now back to the show. And we're back.
Can I tell you how I was going to open the show with you?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go.
please welcome. He likes to slide down poles. He likes to play with hoses. And no, it's not an exotic dancer. But I
That's it. That's all you got.
But I,
You
didn't do it.
know.
I was gonna keep going, but I didn't do it.
You guys have a
Works.
pole in the firehouse?
Nah,
We do.
no.
We have a few stations that have a fire pole that you have to slide down on. So cops, if you're afraid of heights,
Yeah.
you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's just really, I
But,
mean,
you know,
the idea of it is it's faster than taking the stairs.
Yeah,
faster
you
than
take
waiting on an
that,
elevator.
quicker to get to where
gets
you need to go.
right there. And yeah, I know I've seen it. I was in Fort Lauderdale, one of theirs, and I think they actually it works, but it's more of a monument
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
situation.
No, we use ours.
Yeah.
So to go back, I didn't use it. I didn't use the opener. I had more, but whatever. Long story
appreciate
short.
it.
Let's rapid fire because we're in the last segment. We're in the home stretch.
Go for it, Nick.
I can see the light. All right. Ready?
Yeah.
I thought you were
Oh,
gonna
you
say
wanted me to? Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to
Well, mentioned before the break. What are some specialized units? You know, we talked about specialized units we have in PD and stuff. What's some specialized? There are specialized units in the fire service, and what are those?
So the fire department, pretty much any fire department anywhere in the country, we are what's called the all hazards department. We respond to any and everything. So think about that. No matter what it is that you have, we're going to show up and we're going to figure it out. In my agency and in various agencies, you have things like a hazmat unit. You have a dive rescue. You've got a technical rescue team. So these are different specialties that certain firefighters take to belong to those teams. And then whenever a call like that comes in, those teams are the ones that are going to be running it or are in charge of it.
So
and it's specialty training.
Are they out of one station or are they speckled out?
No,
and it's like a
they're
SWAT
sprinting
team?
around into different stations. SWAT is another one. Side note, the SWAT Medic,
Yeah.
that was created within the South Florida Fire Department, which is our agency. I'm
Yeah.
kind of tap dancing around it.
Yeah.
But imagine that. They were like, why don't we just get a firefighter to do some of the training with us on the SWAT team, and we'll just give them a gun, you know? And then these guys did it, and now that's the standard all over the country.
Are those guys that are there? Are they? I don't know. Are they former military, or do you know?
We have a lot of. Usually, our best firefighters are former military. Anywhere from we have guys that are special forces, Marines, SEALs, Rangers.
Wow.
Plenty of guys that have that kind of stuff.
I know a little bit about it, but I'll ask you just to kind of clarify for the audience. I think some of the other ones were a little more self-explanatory with the name, but like technical rescue, that deals with, like say in South Florida we have bridges and
technical rescue. I'll give you an example. We had a call a few weeks ago where they were building this like huge high-rise, and they used rebar, long, sharp,
I saw that video.
expensive, but very heavy stuff, very heavy stuff. And something happened, and there was some kind of an accident, and there was guys trapped, and in there, and there was some of them were impaled. So these specialty units will show up, and they've got to figure it out. It's not just grabbing guys. You're gonna have to cut things, move things around, and so technical rescue. There's all kinds of classes that you have to get in order to be a part of that technical rescue team. You have classes like confined space, right? Rope rescue, structural collapse. You've got swift water rescue. You've got all kinds of these classes, hundreds of hours that you have to take in. Each class that you take, you're tested in, and you have to pass whatever kind of scenario that they're going to come up with. If you don't pass the scenario, you don't get the ticket.
Yeah.
So once you have all these things, then we start talking about FEMA teams, urban search and rescue. That's another one that's all with the fire department. So whenever there's like a natural disaster anywhere, the USAR teams are the ones that show up, and we figure it out.
Let's even go further, because we started incorporating some training with you guys, integrating the fire department, first responder integrated tactical training, active shooter scenarios.
Right, that's the reality of what we're dealing with now. I mean, there's been active shooters. I mean, just the one that sticks out right now is in Las Vegas. You had some guy who decided to get a really high point with a bunch of guns and start shooting a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of like cell phone footage that you can find where it shows people, and there are injuries all over the place. Usually when something like that happens, people are okay with all the specialty training and all the specialty equipment that you need to respond to these emergencies. And then you have, like we have a special truck that we call the Medcat. That's it's like a SWAT team, bulletproof,
it's
and
a Bearcat.
Bearcat.
It's a Bearcat armored vehicle.
Yeah.
Which I want to feature that on police cars. So it's a Bearcat armored vehicle,
Right.
essentially. But it's
Bearcat
used-
is a brand. It's a company.
Yeah, well, it's an up armored vehicle.
Armored vehicle.
Yeah, so they go into the hot zones with
Right.
that, and then
Is it red?
It is.
It is red.
It is
Absolutely.
red.
That's like it has to be red, or else we wouldn't take it.
Less gunshot. We should start painting our cars red.
You should.
But is that
I agree.
Is that a unit, or is that just everybody?
So that specific unit, like I was assigned that unit when I worked on some of the protests that were going on. So they basically have a call out, and who can work this unit, and they plug that in with
What unit is that
firefighters.
called? Or is that a special?
It was that specific one was doing the protest that we had in the city, and they just staff it with guys. Everybody, like I said, everybody that's on the fire department has specialty training.
Yeah.
So it's just basically plug and play. Like, all right, I got these 3 guys, go. You put them on there and you respond.
You talked about the, like the active shooter response. How prevalent is, say, like an active shooter vest, like a plate carrier in the fire department? Not something necessarily that you would see or you expect to see, but I mean, you guys have plate carriers for rifle rounds or those kind of things that are available to you?
Well, I mean, interesting enough, when we filmed that episode at the station, that was like one of the big questions that we had from a bunch of the viewers in the comments, like, are those bulletproof vests? Why do they have bulletproof vests?
Yeah.
And people were like, it was something difficult for them to grasp that, firefighters are putting on bulletproof vests and going in to help people, but that's business as usual. We've been doing that forever. So I mean, of course, we have that in our units because we never know when and if it's going to happen. But I guess the responsibility that goes for the agencies is that not to think, oh, that's never going to happen to us, but when is it going to happen to us, and make sure that we're prepared for it.
So I mean, they're on the trucks, they're on
Absolutely.
the rescue trucks available.
Rescues, engines, we all have those.
How do you guys feel when you have to don those vests and gear? Are you like, are you sizing up the cops, the police officers? Like, these guys better do their job, man. How do you guys feel like that? Because I put on my vest, I got everything, I'm good to go because I have a gun, and I can return fire. How do you guys feel? No gun, going in there. Well, you got the 2 that are attached to you.
I think that
option A and option B.
I think it goes back to the training. I think it goes to the proactive approach on understanding that the world is changing and some of these things are becoming a lot more frequent than we want them to be. So how do I feel? I think I don't feel. I think it's more of all right, look, this is what the call is. All right, let's go, put this on. Yeah. Just like, how do I feel when it's a water emergency and there's a car that's in the water and we're responding on the truck? We have, equipment on there that's going to help. So it's not more of like, I can't really explain that. Like,
I think if I can kind of jump onto that, I think it's just a matter of saving that person that you're serving and giving you the ability to do it safer for you so that you're able to continue that life-saving effort, and you don't necessarily have to wait until it's we'll call it a hot or cold zone, or it's clear for fire rescue to come in, because we don't want you guys to get hurt. It just makes it so that you might be able to get in there safer when it's still a little hotter, a little warmer.
Well, that goes back to everything like active shooter scenarios. They found a lot of these victims, they're bleeding out that could have been saved. Right. And they had survivable gunshot wounds. However,
at the time,
they bled out because the entire school had to be cleared.
Right.
And that was way too much time before fire rescue can get in there. So they're like, here, take this ballistic vest, take this helmet, and we're going to speed it up a little bit.
And so there's more training and just more philosophies and ideas about creating a classroom and doing all that.
So essentially, that's where that FIT program came into. It's like, that's great. They're going to go in there sooner, and that's great. We're handling business, but we bring them in and we work together. It's a great training that we do, and it's like, hey, and we sit next to, like in the beginning of the day, you sit, it's like, fire, police, fire, police, fire, police, fire, police, and you have to get to know each other and talk, because again, if you work in a busy area, it's really hard to get to know. If it's a slower town, smaller town, not a lot of calls. Yeah, you're playing hoops with them or whatever. But here it's like, no. Which by the way, didn't we win a basketball game when we played together out in the? We played 2v2. It was you and I versus two other guys out in the courtyard. You're looking like I'm talking out of my butt right now.
I'm trying to remember that.
It could have been your twin brother.
Oh, that's funny.
It could have been your twin brother.
That's
but
funny.
We went out there and we hooped it up and we beat these guys out there. But anyways, to go back, so you're good. It's another day in the job. If I put my vest on, I'm good to go. I'm not gonna get shot.
I'll give you an example. When I was in the fire academy, my agency's academy is known for being the toughest. It's 6 months long. They literally drill you and they break you. I don't know how else to explain it. I remember specifically one of the instructors, his name is Lieutenant Jose Almeida. He's a veteran. And Special Forces too. We have guys. Another one of the instructors was Navy SEAL, Army guys. Like these are all the best. Yeah. And they do that for a reason. Obviously because
the smartest. They chose the right side.
Yeah.
There you go. So thanks for that. And they they're training these new guys that are coming in. I remember he would, whenever Lieutenant Maida was giving us these scenarios, he would come up with these wild things. And we have our training center, which is like 6 or 7 floors. And he would be like, all right, you see this building? It's not a building, it's a ship. It's a ship, and the only way you can get in is through the 3rd floor. I'll be like, all right. And then another time, oh, it's a plane. The only way you can get up is through the 5th floor.
Yeah.
And we have to adapt to whatever the circumstance is.
Yeah.
I remember one specific day, we had to climb in through the 5th floor, hoist a bunch of tools. When we got the tools, mind you, you're blindfolded.
Yeah.
So, because in a real fire, you can't see anything. It's not like in the movies. So I remember I felt something, and we had to cut it with a saw. And then by the time that we get up to where the door is at, Lieutenant Maida standing there, and he goes, all right, what do you got? All right, let me see. I got a door. I feel the hinges. It is an outward swinging door. And he's asking, he's quizzing you.
Yeah.
So basically, when you're on the street, you remember.
Yeah.
We get in, and then I basically explained to him what I'm going to do. I'm on the nozzle. All right, I'm going to do a right-hand search pattern. What are you doing? I'm looking for victims and looking for the fire. I'm going to put it out and whatever. When we walk in, all of a sudden, he says, all right, stop. Everybody stand up. And usually when you would do that, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And, I stand up. He goes, take your mask off. Take your mask off. And he comes up to me first. He's like, Saavedra, you're a paramedic, right? I'll say, yes, sir. Mind you, I'm not talking like this. I'm like this.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. He goes, all right, Saavedra, what is the dose for mag sulfate for a patient who's in preeclampsia? Go. And mind you, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You're like pale, whatever. And I froze up. He goes, you don't know, huh? Nice. What's the dose for mag sulfate? Blah, blah, blah. Same thing. Nobody knew anything. And then when nobody knew anything, he would be like, I tell you what, I called 911. Does anybody have a cell phone? Because I'm going to call 912. Maybe they send me somebody who knows how to do their job. But they instill in you that you have to know what to do. At that moment, when somebody calls 911, they want whatever it is that they're dealing with, they want a specialist with that problem.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So they don't want you to have to put it up on Google and search
get
what
out
to
of
do.
here. Like you have to. There's a certain sanctity that comes with that, and cops do the same thing too. You're showing up and you have to wear multiple hats. So these specialty units, it really is a big deal because they constantly, as a firefighter, you're training, period. You're training on how to open doors, how to put out certain fires, how to cut cars and stuff like that. Yeah. When you're a part of a specialty unit, you're training not only firefighter stuff, but also that specialty unit. Search patterns if you're underwater, blindfolded, holding your breath techniques, what to do when you get to the victim, all kinds of things. So it's really a big deal, but it goes hand in hand with what I said earlier. People have no idea that the fire department deals with this stuff.
Yeah.
They have no clue.
It's a lot.
And the relationship that we have with police, I mean, I've had cops that I was with that you trust them, like, hey, like active shooter, drive-bys, whatever you want to call it, and it's important to be on the same page.
No, and we definitely understand that. Like, at least I did, and the people that I worked with, I can't speak for the entire world or nation, but it's like, hey, when they're on scene, let's take care of these guys, because one day we might need them too. And
sure.
And I've been through a couple things on duty that I've gotten hurt where you guys were there to help me out, and that's a whole nother podcast. But you got any I was gonna say for like social media accounts or anything you want to plug? If not, was there anything else you wanted to add?
How much pressure?
Yes.
You want to ask
no,
that?
say it.
How much pressure actually comes out of a fire hose?
So the one, remember, in a fire truck you have different positions. The guy that drives the truck is a driver engineer. So once we get to a fire, he's the one that puts the truck in pump, turns on the fire pump, and actually goes back there. And you're doing math depending what's going on.
Wouldn't be our position.
Yeah, you guys see firemen have to deal with stuff like that.
48 hours, 72 hours. That wouldn't be our position.
Yeah. No.
So depending what lines you're using, what structure it is, how many floors, and you have to friction loss. There's so much math that's coming at you, and it goes back to from remembering the dose of a medication to remembering a technique on how to do something. It's a huge responsibility that they have. It's not just driving to the emergency. Yeah. So, for example, usually if we're having a jump line, which is like the lines of the trucks that actually have the nozzle on them. Those are usually our go-to. We'll pull them out. You got like 200 feet of 1 3/4. Off the top of the head, you're looking at like 110 PSI. But if you add a section of hose because it's farther or it's higher, you got to bump up the pressure. So it really depends. There's no one answer for everybody, because at the same time the driver is communicating with the units or the firemen that are inside, and they'll let you know, hey, crank up the pressure, or hey, bring it down a little bit. Because if he gives you too much, I can throw you around, and it's tough.
Wow.
Really? Could it go through drywall?
If you have enough pressure on there and you're aiming at like some drywall, especially if it's getting wet and stuff like that, you'll go through the drywall. Absolutely. We have tools where, sometimes the fire isn't just like a desk that's involved.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fire's in the wall. Like it's burning the stuff inside, and it'll go up to the ceiling.
Backdraft.
Ah, there you go.
You like that movie? That was a great movie. You see Backdraft?
Yeah.
It's in the walls.
I'm more of a Ladder 49 guy.
Oh, I like that movie too.
That's a great movie. See, you've seen those movies.
I prefer
I watch it at
Rescue
night
Me.
when no one's around.
I'm more of a Rescue Me kind
Rescue
of guy.
Me is great. That's another good
On
one.
FX with
That's
Dennis
another.
Leary.
Dennis Leary.
That was the
That's
best
great. That's a great one.
9/11.
So can it let's because all the PSIs and all that stuff, a lot of cops listening to this. It can go through drywall, right? It can go through like a glass window or
Yeah.
obviously
What
we
about,
can
could you use it to clean your driveway?
pressure
If you lower the PSI, I'm gonna do this for cops. If you lower the PSI,
which is
you're lowering
what's
how
the range?
strong the water is that's coming out of the hose. Wow. Yeah. See?
Wow.
Yeah. So sometimes you guys call us out because there's a bunch of blood on the street, and we'll hit it with like what we call a booster line, which is one that's on a reel.
Yeah.
We'll pull it out, and it's all about gallons per minute, how much actual water you can get on the surface.
Okay.
So
To go back to that, if there's a car parked in front of a fire hydrant, do you break their windows to hook up to it?
are you asking me if there's a house that's on fire with occupants inside and we have to get water on the fire, would I break somebody's windows in order to obtain a water source?
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Because you see it in movies, they run the line through the car.
When they could easily just put it up and over.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes if you've got that elbow, right, it won't let you do it. So that's the tough part. And usually it's always a nice car that's parked in the front.
Oh, so it's happened.
Well, I've never had to bust somebody's windows. I've never had to do that.
Yeah.
One time I thought I was pretty close, and right when I was getting ready to, look, this guy, you know what? He actually showed up and moved this car.
How mad do you get if that car drives over your fire hose?
Well, if you drive over, that's another thing that you can't do. It's not a garden hose, you know what I mean? So I mean, if you're running it over with a car that weighs how much, you can pop that line, and you are cutting off the supply that these guys inside are receiving, and it gets hot. Mind you, again, it's not like in the movies where you can see everything. Oh my God, the fire's right there. Bullshit, it's hot. It is hot.
Substance
If you close your eyes, that's literally what you see, and you're relying on touch, and then all of a sudden you'll feel it, and you go, oh look, it's right here.
Yeah,
and you put it up.
Yeah, I've run into an apartment with a sergeant grabbing our fire extinguishers, and holy moly, like you're going in trying to beat fire there, and you're going, woo, it's not for me.
All right, last one. Favorite cop movie?
Die Hard. Favorite Christmas movie also, by the way.
Die Hard, is that really?
He was a cop.
Right,
he was a cop.
I'll take it.
Who was on vacation.
Yeah, New York and then LAPD.
And he also used a fire hose.
Yeah.
When he jumped out.
Right. Okay, all right.
So he's cool with me. John McClane.
Okay, all right, I get it.
John McClane.
All right, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, man.
Al.
He's
Or
asleep.
what? Or is it your brother? I'm just kidding.
Check the tattoo.
Yeah. Salute, my friend. Thank you for coming on and
Cheers.
representing. I'm going to drink real quick. Thank you for representing for all the firefighters out there that were listening to the previous shows and were like, hey man, we don't appreciate the jabs, man.
We got to get repped. Yeah, if you want to see more fire stuff, comment down below. Let us know.
There's one thing I wanted to mention, which I didn't mention, which is this shirt that I'm wearing.
Go.
It's from it's called Never Walk Alone, which benefits first responders that are police, fire, dispatchers that are suffering from PTSD.
Yeah.
We've actually, if you look up and you can Google, and anybody out there can Google this stuff out, we've been losing more first responders to PTSD than in the line of duty deaths. Firemen, it's been through the roof. We've had a few in South Florida, and it just keeps happening. It's an issue.
Huge.
I think this organization is great because they're helping. They're trying to plug people in with help. Yeah. I think it's impossible for you to show up to some of these calls which, you know, I'm guaranteed we each are 3 different positions here. I mean, we can go on for hours on things that we saw that affected you.
Yeah.
Personally, I think it's impossible for you to show up to some of these calls, because usually when someone's calling 911, it's not a good thing, you know?
Not at all.
And I think that some of that stuff sticks to you. It really does.
100%.
So give them a shout out too.
So where can they find them?
They have an Instagram channel, which is
Never
Walk Alone.
Okay.
And they've got shirts and all kinds of stuff. We've been participating in the Miami Marathon, which usually a bunch of firefighters will show up, cops will show up too, and we'll walk in full gear to bring awareness to post-traumatic stress disorder.
Awesome. So we're going to put all kinds of links.
Yeah, we'll have all kinds of links.
We could probably snippet that part out in case those of you that are listening still, thank you. We appreciate it kindly. But we could probably snippet that out and put it a standalone on Instagram. So we can tag 'em.
Already was cranking that.
All right. Well, Al, again, thanks for showing up. Awesome. I've got money that it's probably going to be one of the most viewed podcasts.
From
Those
experience.
firefighters come in and just destroy us.
Yeah.
But,
They put it on loop in the firehouse.
That's funny. You guys are full of shit.
All right.
Calling all units, calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.